Coach,
Go ahead.
welcome aboard, first of all, and
Yeah.
just want to hear it straight from you. What sold you on coming here and joining Mike and being a Hilltopper coach?
Well, there's a lot to that story. First off, when Coach Sanford approached me with this opportunity, to be quite honest, the first thing that I thought about was just the opportunity that I had to work with him. Was a tremendous opportunity in my opinion. He kind of alluded to our relationship. I think we both known about each other, being close in age and location throughout our careers, and then obviously my connection with his father. All of those things, I've had a lot of respect for him, and for me, I think he's on the cutting edge of offensive football, and that's something for me that it was an opportunity to grow, which I think in this game, if you're not doing that, then you're getting worse. You're either getting better or you're getting worse. So, from the business side of it, that was definitely something that I felt like I couldn't pass up, and then to be a part of. A championship program to me is a tremendous opportunity. There's a lot of teams out there playing football. There are not a lot of teams winning like WKU has in the past decade. So for me, that was definitely probably the two most influential things as far as me being here. And then I think that having investigated the situation and what these offensive linemen have been through throughout their career, that was intriguing to me too, to come try to help them and to try to use my expertise as best I can to help them have some success on the field.
What kind of voice do you think you can bring? I mean, I know Coach was talking about you coached some guys that played in the NFL, different programs. What kind of experiences do you think you can bring to help along some of these guys?
Well, I mean, I think obviously, I've been a lot of places. I've been doing this for a while. I'd like to still consider myself as a young coach, but I guess maybe I'm not quite anymore. But I think that I can bring some different schematic thoughts to the table. There are good coaches in the room. It's definitely a collective effort in that room. It's not just one voice, which I appreciate. I think obviously 5 minds are going to be better than one. But I've been in spread systems. I've been in pro style systems. Similar to Coach Sanford in that regard. And so I think that our styles and just really our background meshes well. And I look forward to being able to contribute in any way those guys need me or see fit.
Been able to evaluate the current offensive line at all?
I have. I mean, it's been a little over a week, so Coach Sanford talked about drinking through the fire hose. I'm definitely in that same boat right now. But yeah, I've had a chance to watch some tape. We've been kind of scratching the surface a little bit on the self-scout stuff. And I'm encouraged. I think there's definitely some talent in the program, which we all need as coaches. Players are the ones out there making plays. So, there's only so much you can do as a coach, in my opinion. But I do think there is a lot of youth that needs to be developed. That's what I would say. There's a lot of potential in the offensive line room, but potential just means you haven't done anything yet. And so that's to me really where our focus is going to be here for the next whatever months it is until we line up in Camp Randall and go to work. But for me, that's what's encouraging is I do think that they've got talent here and they've got good players and more importantly than that, they've got kids that want to develop. They want to be good. They're passionate about the position, the game, the team, the university, all of those things, and you can see that real fast. And I think they're hungry for some success, which is good. That's how it needs to be.
I guess we'll be able to tell your guys about that first game then, about what it's going to be like over there.
Yeah, I've experienced that a couple times. It's fun. It's going to be a great opportunity for us.
What do you like about the 2 offensive linemen that you signed in this class?
Well, I think they're long. One of the hardest things I think, just in general in college football is finding length. And I think that's at every position, but it's especially important at offensive tackle. You're a space player, and so you're going to be going against longer players on the edges of the defense, and to combat that, you need length yourself. Not all the time. It's not, a lot of these things are stereotypes, I think, but we needed to get longer, and we needed some depth at that position. And so, the two guys we got, I'm extremely fired up about. I think both of them, Gunnar and Mason, are both going to be key additions to where we're moving forward at the offensive line position.
I'm not sure how much you know Coach Dart yet or his situation, but how much of a role do you expect him to have with the offensive line, if at all?
I don't have that answer. That would probably be a better question for Coach Sanford. Yep.
TJ, speaking of Coach Sanford, you heard the answer when I asked, about, how his dad was describing you. To paraphrase, kind of you can be tough and you know when to give a hug, paraphrase. Is that pretty accurate? Would you feel that's how you approach things when it comes to coaching?
Yeah, I would like to think that. I think that there is a level of responsibility and accountability to the offensive line to be the backbone of a football team. I think that, at the end of the day, our position is the position that everybody leans on. Everybody on offense needs the offensive line to do what they think they can do or want to do on the field, right? Whether that's the running back, the quarterback, the wide receivers. You ain't catching balls if the quarterback doesn't have time to throw the ball, so on and so forth, right? And so, when the chips are down in a game, you're usually not running over to other positions and saying, hey, come on, guys, let's get it going. Usually that falls on the offensive line. And so, and because of that dynamic and that team dynamic, I just feel very strongly that group has to be tough. That group has to be able to deal with adversity, because there is a lot of adversity at that position. Most of the time people aren't talking about offensive linemen when they're doing great things, right? Most of the time we're being talked about when we're falling short of the mark somehow, some way. And so, I think you have to, for me, my job is to develop that toughness, to provide that adversity, while we're practicing, and while we're preparing for those adverse situations. Having said that, I do think that, my role and my job is far greater than just coaching offensive line. I take a lot of pride in developing young men to men, and I want to be that influence, and I want to be that mentor to them. And usually that takes love, and that takes some passion off the field. And so that's a little bit kind of my philosophy, I guess, as far as my job and my duty go. I'm gonna be hard on them. I'm gonna coach them hard. You guys will see that out of practice. I won't be afraid to holler out there for sure. But I'm gonna put my arm around them and let them know that no matter what happens on that field, they're still a good person. They're still a good kid, and I'm gonna be there for them in whatever they need from me.
I'm just of the opinion, I think it's the hardest position to play in football. And just in your experiences, when you see a player that you're coaching, I don't want to say they struggle in the beginning, but when they're learning, and then they finally, when finally it starts to click, as a coach, when you see one of your linemen, when it starts to click, what's that like? Is there more satisfaction personally than professionally?
Yeah, first of all, because of your statement, you're my favorite guy in the room now. So that's good. Yeah, for me, and I loved playing the game. I don't want to discount any of that, but for me, seeing somebody else be able to achieve something that they might not have been able to achieve prior to your influence on them, there's no greater feeling to me in the game or in the world. And so, for me, that's pretty fun and pretty special. And sometimes with offensive linemen, it takes a little bit of time, and I think that's why it's so rewarding too. There's not very many quick fixes in offensive line play. They're like I like to say they're like a good steak. You got to marinate them for some time usually before you can't just slap them on the grill. So, to me, I think that's part of the deal too. I think that's why it's so satisfying, is because it takes a lot of time for those kids to move their body, in the ways that we're asking them to move their body, to handle the volume of football that we give them. All of those things I think are pretty fulfilling when you see them happen.
Anything else? Thanks, Coach.
Yep.